Anin, Oceanicot and Dishnacas, in Vendagos, Mapulinan, the Mag Zaxqua, Jamaica. Welcome to Osmond, everybody. We're here gathered today for celebrate Veterans Day. This is kind of an impromptu gathering. We just put this together within the past week or so. So forgive us for not being thoroughly organized, but you know, as we always say, as long as we put something together with good intentions, it always runs smoothly. So, you know, we use tobacco, we got the medicines here, we got the drums, and we're gathered with good intentions. We got our elders here, and the good people of the community. So things are done in a good way. And I want to say miigwech to our brothers that have served in the military. You know, there's the experience I can't really speak on, but I do have that in my family lineage, and also I do respect that in that way. We have Mark Kingbird and a couple of brothers here that are gonna open up with the song. We have Mike Smith here. We're gonna pray for the food that we're gonna have tonight, and we're gonna just keep it kind of basic. You know, we're gonna use our medicines, our prayers, tobacco, songs, and we're gonna have an open mic for anybody that wants to speak on anything about their experiences, in particular in order to post-traumatic stress. Anybody that has dealt with that, or anybody that has any experiences with that, not necessarily in relation to going to war, but in relations to some of us that have to deal with that on the streets here, you know, fighting armed battles. But without further ado, pass it off to Mike here. Pass the mic to Mike, like that.
Bonjour. C'est celui-là, yo. C'est maman avec toi. Kui tuiaan struggle, yo. This is Dorian. This is the Mawatma. Kanabe. Christian, we to the wind. Not to know what. To the east of the watch. You know, I'm on the do, we do call it. The east of the you know. We okay, I is away to a young meal. Quite to a young coat. We do cars of it, you know. We couldn't go a coat. Feel water to die to be preach our egg one. So we do cause the egg here no one. And there's this thing now no one is chilly water. That's your no one. And the next man can go to a man. The Shaganashi man, the sort of war on it. And get to see now is in the cutting, but you know. Shanabe Gagi get doing Namayan. The scope of the sea, they really do. They need Dutch to do it. Our name Dutch to do it. I asked the Creator for permission to speak English with the same on food that we're offering. We're offering the spirits to come join us and listen to us. Help us. Help us to learn more about different things, what the Shanabe people had almost on a daily duty. But we're not going to go into that. I know there's a lot of ceremonies that need to be picked up on. And one is sending somebody out to one of their service, men and women. I've got a nephew. He's over in Texas. He told me, he says, Mike, I want to go to service. I said, oh, that's nice. He says, I want to make a career out of it. Well, that's nice too. So he's got 2.5 more years and he'll have 20 years. But the important part of this, what happened with him was Tommy J. Stillday. I can't remember if he done the ceremony or what, but it's been that long. I don't have memory that long anymore. Behind my house, we had a floodlock back there. And we invited a few veterans to come talk to this young man that's going out to war. And he was delighted to do it. He said, because that's the way it was done a long time ago. Before they went off to war, they were put through a special ceremony. Give them the ins and outs about being in the service. So time passed, and he was over in that, where they had that big warrior towards the last there. I forget what it's called. Before he went over there, they gave him I think it's 5-day furlough. He'd come home, and then he said he wanted to talk to me, so I went to Danbury, where he was, visiting his mom. And he said, Mike, I'm going out to that war, he said. He said, is there anything you can give me to protect me? I said, well, yeah, I could help you. So I made him a bundle, spear bundle, to wear on him, just like he does his dog tags. He was quite happy about that. And then when he was getting ready to leave, I asked his mom, do you have any wild rice? He said, yeah. I said, well, give it to me. He said, what for? I said, well, I'm going to use it. He thought I was going to take it home and cook it for myself. So I told this young buck, when you get over there, the first chance you get a weekend pass or something, take this to town. He says, what am I going to do with it? I said, you're going to give it to an elder over there. An elder. Give it to that elder. So the time came. Walking down the street there, and he remembered that he had it in his jacket pocket, and he walked up to that old man and handed him that wild rice. He was thanking him. And then he started to walk away. And this little old man caught up to him. And he had an interpreter. He had an interpreter with him. He said, I want to tell you something. He says, your mom's still alive, and you got 2 sisters back home. Yeah, that's right. He says, as time passes, one of your sisters is gonna introduce you to a woman that you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. I don't know how that old man knew that. It must have been a connection to some of our ways of teaching. Visualizing these things. That's all I could think of. Visualize that. And I'm glad that I was able to help him with that journey. 2.5 more years left. Been married twice. Couldn't wait for her sister to tell him. I don't know. Maybe the third one will. Be great.
Be good, Mike. You feel like adding anything to that, Joe? You got any stories for us? I hate to put you on the spot like that, but I know you always got something good in your heart to say.
You've been over a long time.
Oh, be great. My Indian name and interpreted to English is spirit walking around, Yajabawase, indigenous cause, Wabajashi, do name, and my plan is Martin. Anyway, Martin asked me to say something about Veterans Day on Veterans Day, so I'm really happy that Mike talked about how it used to be before our folks went out to war. There were ceremonies for those folks to protect them and to sanction them to kill somebody if they had to. So knowing that killing somebody and taking someone's life or maiming them is pretty psychologically stressful and causing post-traumatic stress. Back when I was growing up, they called it, what was that they called it, Mike? Shell shock or something like that. And I think that's because we didn't have those ceremonies back then. I think we need to start them again for our young guys and women. And when they come home to say, hey, leave that stuff over there. Now we'll do a ceremony for you to come back into society with your family and friends. I think we really need to do that. And I'd like to see, if no one else does it, that the CDC could somehow develop a program where we could do that here at this building. When somebody wants a ceremony and they're going off to the service, and we could do that. Now, I've always advocated that for 10 years, but we haven't done anything in the community or here. But anyway, talking about being a veteran, my hero was Vietnam. You don't have any choice to stay out or what, you have to go. There's a draft system, you have to, you can go. And I went. I was on relocation in San Francisco. When I got my call from Cass County saying, "No, come back and take your induction physical so you can go to the Army." And I said, "Now I'm transferred out to here to San Francisco." I went from out here. So I didn't have an opportunity to have a ceremony. And by going into the service from there, when I was at the airport in San Francisco, I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I'm going in service. I'll let you know where I'm going to be when I get there." I couldn't imagine what that caused her emotionally. And I didn't realize it until I took my daughter to college out in Jamestown. My wife went, got her, she was a good sports person. She was good in volleyball, basketball, and track. She got over there and get a full scholarship to go to Jamestown. So my wife went, got her enrolled, got her dorm all set up, and she came home. And I took her back to go to school. And I couldn't believe how hard that was leaving her. Shit, I cried all the way from Jamestown to Fargo. Then I thought about, what did I do to my mom when I enlisted? During Vietnam was just starting and nobody knew what the war was about. I mean, the politicians knew. It was all about money and oil. But I felt really bad. So I cried from Fargo to Bemidji. My mom. But when I went into service, I was on an aircraft carrier with bombers and fighters and stuff like that on board. There were about 3,500 people on the ship. 2 from Bemidji here that I finally contacted about 10 years ago that we didn't know each other. When we were on the ship, one worked up with radar, keeping track of airplanes. The other guy was managing that hook when the planes land, there's a cable that the planes hook onto. He's operated that, and I was in the engine room and the generators making electric lights. So we never saw each other. Our wives worked together at the hospital, and that's how we got together. But anyway, I was proud to go into the service. I didn't wait to get drafted, I enlisted in the Navy. And I went to Vietnam 3 times, came back, went to California, worked there for about 15 years. Never told anybody I was in the service. Came back home and started working for the state. And we asked Governor Plenty to come open our speech because I was working with the Indian Affairs Council from 32 states. We had a meeting at Northern Lights. So at Northern Lights, we had Leech Lake Honor Guard come in. Oh man, was I proud of them. Marching in step, putting up the American flag, the Leech Lake flag, and the service flag. That's when I said, I want to be part of you guys. I want to be proud of being affiliated with veterans. So that's how I finally asked or talked about myself, being a veteran. And that was 20 years after I got out of service. Then I started thinking about who was in service for my family. My mom's brothers, all of her brothers in World War II, all my dad's brothers were in World War II. They volunteered. So I was proud of them, and I was proud to be part of the service. But Wichita has always been around, long before the immigrants came here. We protected our families, our homeland, as well as been here. And when the Europeans came, we fought with the French against the Britons, and fought with the Britons against the French, those guys. So Indians have always been involved with wars from 1700s to today. And I think about some of those folks that were in the service. Lori Piazzolla, she was a Tiwa Indian woman. She got killed in Iraq. First woman to ever get killed in combat. I met her parents. Got collapsed when they came up. You know, you probably heard of Ira Hayes. You probably heard of Eli Parker. He was the one that wrote the surrender for Robert E. Lee when General Grant beat him in the Civil War. He was an Indian guy from Blackfeet. He was a civil engineer. So there were a lot of notable Indians in the military, but they never talked about it. They just had scouts in the movies trying to find other Indians, you know. But I'm proud that I was in the service. It was 4 years of my life I'd never give for anything. Because when we joined, we didn't only fight to have the right to free speech, to do anything that's legal, you know, in our country. We fought to protect the land where our ancestors are buried. Mother Earth. That's what it's about. The Europeans or the immigrants can't say that. Other than our relatives from this Western Hemisphere, from Mexico. Mexicans are Indians too. People from Guatemala are Indians too. They're indigenous to this. I remember when I went to White Mountain Apache, there was some elders from way up north of the Arctic Circle. They asked the chief, come in, bring us down when he came down here. They could speak the same language. The Apaches and the elders from way up north, they're talking to each other. So we're all related. So I was very proud to be in the service. And I still talk to guys today that I was in the service with. And it's something I'll never ever be ashamed of. Even though we heard some bad news about kids' bodies being found in boarding schools in Canada. But hell, it probably happened here too in this country. There were 39 boarding schools in the United States, 16 in Minnesota. So I'm glad the Secretary of Interior is going to research this, study this. Something really confounded me today. I was happy to be a veteran, but I was sad for what happened to our people. So with that, I want to say thank you for being here tonight. Honor our veterans. There's a bunch of veterans all over this town. It's Native veterans. And we're proud to. Oh, we wish, you know.
We're going to begin with the song. We're just going to start out with the song, and then we can listen it up. I also want to note that we're live streaming here. Anybody that's available in the Bemidji area, any families that are hungry, feel free to come on in. We got plenty of food. Oh.
What? I'll tell you this story and it takes us back to how powerful we were back in the olden days. I've got a buddy who's still alive, and he found a picture in his mom's luggage and stuff, and it's back in Duluth, where she used to live. Come across a picture of a soldier. He asked her where that come from. She said, well, that's your great uncle. He was in the war. And it turns out that he was a spy. And somebody had asked him during that time how hard it was getting into those areas to go spy on. He said, well, it was easy getting in, but the hard part was getting out. He said, what do you mean? He says, I had this buddy, he was a Chenal Bay person. And he was part of the group, but he didn't get to change to go into Spireland. But he made that soldier invisible, so he'd get on the other side without being caught. I don't know if there's any more people like that around. But it sure would be nice. I'd hide away from my boss every day. We would.
enough to eat?
Yep.
Plenty of food left, plenty of food to take home, feel free to take some home and feed your families, feed your neighbors, you know how Anishinaabe do it. Make sure no one's starving at home or around you. In honor of Veterans Day today, we want to honor a couple of our guests here. We want to do something special in recognition of their service. So, we've got a couple of brothers here with us tonight. And brother, when I call your name, just come up and we'll hand you a bundle, and we're gonna do an honor song for you for your service and your name. Dwayne Columbus. Good for your service, brother. And William Klaus. Good for your service. Oh, ask those of you that can stand to stand and we'll do this honor song. also gonna ask, any elders in the crowd that we're also gonna come give you some bundles too. This is for those who identify as elder.
Thank you.
Jim, that counts you. Yeah, it gets an elder check, so it's official. Did you say Marlon should get two? Yep, yeah, and we got one for Joe Day, and the other for Mike Smith put away already. Which for your service too? Not elders yet, but you'll be there someday. Elders in training. Yeah, want to say, in closing, want to say McGlish to everybody for coming up. This came together beautifully. Felt good to see everybody here today. We haven't done anything like this for a long time. I didn't get to go around and talk to everybody, but, well, I guess I did. I got the microphone talking to everybody at the same time, but you know what I mean? To meet you and talk to you. For those of you that I did, it felt good to see you. We wish for coming out. We wish to the jump for coming out. We wish to the prayers. We wish Navik. We wish to our service, to our community. It's a beautiful gathering here tonight. That being said, we're going to close out and be Guatemala, Manawa.